Name, where you come from, what you do. You don't have to go into details. Just like, my name is Daryl. I work at Zone 01 Kisumu. I love AI, and I'm happy to be here. Is that a good guide?
My name is Bernard Otieno. Okay. My name is Bernard Otieno, apprentice Zone 01 Kisumu.
Hello. Hello everyone. My name is Joel Amos. I'm an apprentice here at Zone 01.
My name is Vincent Omondi. I'm an apprentice at Zone 01.
Good afternoon, Fred Monene, apprentice Zone 01.
Good afternoon, I'm Alan Kamau, apprentice Zone 01. I love ChatGPT.
Good afternoon, my name is Brian. I love AI.
Afternoon, I'm Teddy Ogola Siaka, apprentice at Zone 01 Kisumu.
Hello, my name is Otieno Willis and I'm a digital agrarian.
My name is Bantu.
Yes.
I'm an apprentice developer here at Zone 01 Kisumu.
Thank you. Yes.
My name is Daniel. I'm an apprentice here and I love AI.
Thank you.
Afternoon.
Afternoon.
Afternoon again.
Afternoon again.
My name is Granton, junior software developer at Zone 01.
Okay.
Nditi Onwan, apprentice here.
Good evening. My name is Stella Oiro, apprentice at Zone 01 Kisumu, and I love AI.
Thank you.
My name is Bravian. I love AI.
Bravian, you have only one name.
Good evening, guys.
Yeah.
My name is Edward Odero, attaché at Zone 01.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Larry Ombima, apprentice at Zone 01 Kisumu.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Sheila, an apprentice at Zone 01.
Good.
Wycliffe Onyango, apprentice at Zone 01 Kisumu.
Thank you.
Mukwa, an apprentice at Kisumu.
You're not sure what you are. When we're looking at you, you're saying what you are.
David, apprentice Zone 01.
Thank you.
Roger Stragwell, apprentice Zone 01.
Thank you.
Clifford Okoth, apprentice Zone 01.
Thank you.
Natalie, a friend of Zone 01.
Thank you, Natalie.
Gadhanga Elijah, apprentice Zone 01.
Thanks.
Stephen, apprentice Zone 01. Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, Kizito Otieno, I pioneer LAKEHUB. Right now I'm selling Blue Band.
You're selling Blue Band?
Blue Band, yeah.
Good, thanks.
Hi.
Hi.
Hilary, enthusiast, Zone 01.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm Roger Sneaker. I just come from around.
From around Kisumu? From around Kisumu?
Yeah, Kisumu.
Good. Thanks. Good. So I'd like to just brief you on why we are gathered here today. This is a very important exercise, and as you guys know, artificial intelligence is one of the new areas in tech that is affecting and probably will affect our lives going forward. And it is upon ourselves to chart the path forward on how we will use and regulate if we need to, and ensure that artificial intelligence is based on good strategy. Its implementation in our country is based on good strategy as well as good laws. So we've invited residents of Kisumu. We've invited people who are interested in AI, in tech, from the business sector, from governance perspective, from leadership, as well as you apprentices who will probably learn and use AI in our day-to-day lives. And this is a partnership between ourselves, the Ministry of Information Communication and the Digital Economy, and Global Partnership for Sustainable Development Data, GPSDD. So our goal here today is to help develop Kenya's national AI strategy. That's a task, huge one, that you guys have the privilege of participating in. And this strategy, we are to ensure that there's broad public participation and inclusivity. So as you can see, we put out tickets out there, and you guys showed the most interest in helping us chart a way forward for this strategy. This is happening it has happened in Nairobi. It will also happen in Mombasa. This is the Kisumu edition. There is one scheduled for Eldoret, and there are certain regional hubs where, if need be, then this will be done. So our goal here today is simple and straightforward. We want to gather diverse perspectives on AI strategy for this country. So whatever you have in your mind, whatever you think should be included in the AI strategy or not, and which areas that the strategy needs to look into, please feel free to share your comments and ideas. And of course, another objective of today is to increase public awareness and understanding of AI and its implications, okay? Its implications in our lives today, in the future, in the various aspects of what we do. It will be important that we lay those out today. And finally, we just need to ensure that the strategy reflects the needs and aspirations of various stakeholders. So for example, as apprentices who make the majority of this gathering, you are stakeholders as users, okay? Of course, from the county government perspective, they are stakeholders in terms of policy and governance perspective. For business people, you are stakeholders, say as, again, implementers or people who use AI as a tool to enhance your business activities. So depending on whatever area you are in, you don't have to be technical, you don't have to be, have a tech background in AI so that for you to be able to contribute to this policy. I'm not a tech person, but of course you see me here trying to lead a conversation about AI. So we'll take notes, we'll share with you, we'll also give you some forms that you can fill afterwards, and then we'll gather this into one document and share with the Kenya National AI Strategy team.
Franklin, shika mic. So this is a public participation. What that means is I won't talk the whole time. So you will be our first person to talk today. I think at first, just like to start by introducing myself. My name is Stacy. I am a tech enthusiast. There are days that I have done a bit of IoT, so I do understand that. There are days I write software on this other side, and on this particular day, I come in as I come in as an expert of sorts in AI. I'm happy to be hyphenated like that. Hopefully you strive to be as hyphenated as I am. Franklin, I think you will kick us off, unfortunately or fortunately. Maybe we can start by very briefly just what is AI for you?
AI, artificial intelligence. Well, I can say it's a large module. Yeah.
A large module?
Yeah.
So umeanza quite technical, but okay. So I'll use the definition from Michael Murugi, who is the Government Affairs and Public Policy Lead for East Africa at Google. He says that AI is a new technology that mimics human processes of intelligence and problem solving to manage and perform complex tasks and learn at the same time. So I guess from AI, we get machine learning. Very nice. So I want to imagine at this point, if you've been hearing people say AI, but hauko sure yo AI ni nini. Now we are at the same point. Sinjo, so here in Kenya, how have we arrived at this point? Because at some, when you look at it in depth, in all honesty, Kenya does not have an AI strategy yet. We have a lot of other bills, ICT policies and cybersecurity, but unfortunately for AI, it's not there. So it's a good opportunity for us, users of AI, or rather, even developers, hopeful developers of AI, to be involved in this process of chartering a governing law. Okay, so I'm going to geek out a bit. Not because I know this thing offhand, but because I researched and I have to tell you about it. So first thing, our policies on ICT date as far back as 2005. Kila mtu alikuwa amezaliwa by 2005, si ndio? Wewe nyamaza. Huyu hata sijui anafanya nini hapa. Anyway, so in 2018, there was a blockchain and AI task force with a mandate to provide recommendations on harnessing these emerging technologies. So I want to imagine in 2018, Kenya looked at it and said, vitu zinafanyika, si ndio? Tukaanza kuitoa Silicon Savannah. We were laughing yesterday on Silicon Valley, but here we have a Savannah, so Silicon Savannah. Anyway, in 2019, the Ministry of Information and ICT, the Ministry of ICT, and the Youth Affairs and National Communications Secretariat released the Kenya Digital Economy Blueprint after the Africa Digital Economic Blueprint that was done after the Transform Africa Summit. Trust me, I wish I knew what they deliberated on those summits. But then in 2022, the Ministry of ICT issued a new digital blueprint, that is the Kenya Digital Master Plan, notably integration of recommendations from Smart Africa Alliance in relation to long-term outcomes of digital governance that include fairness, equity, transparency, and accountability. When you delve into AI regulations, these are terms that you will hear more often than not, especially when you compare it with already existing laws or recommendations, say the UNESCO one, that one I knew before, the EU AI Act, and even the G20 principles. And then in 2022, we had the National Cyber Security Strategy developed. Pigeni Kenya makofi. At least we have something. We are pioneers in Africa. And then, because we are members of the AU, we have a commitment to advancing the formulation and implementation of human-centered AI policies in alignment with the goals of AU Digital Information Strategy and Continental Data Policy Frameworks. So, that is Kenya, Sinjo. And then now, how have we ended up here? Kenya has its own long history of trying to govern the way IT will be used and will be developed. So, they are looking for a strategy that aims to leverage local data sets and talents, ensuring AI landscape is both localized and globally competitive. So even that's what we're trying to do here at the zone. We want local talent for international markets, right? And they've held 3 stakeholders workshops on development of now the Kenya National AI and Emerging Technology Strategy, which Daryl has just mentioned. They are doing this in a couple of cities and towns in Kenya. So, the participants discussed the necessity of milestones, such as the development and validation strategy, pilot use cases, and multi-stakeholder engagement. That is why we are here today, for multi-stakeholder engagement. I think when we were introducing ourselves, we had people from private sector. You can woo, so that I know you're with me. Na nyinyi ni wawa. We have the government, industry experts, what were IoT. There were some people from academic and research institutions and also CSOs. So we hope by end of today, we'll have created a strategy, not necessarily a policy, but a strategy that will help Kenya move forward. Round of applause, boys and girls. All right, cool. So that's it for the introduction. If you have a question at any point, feel free to raise your hand. There's a mic that will also move around. So with that being said, we're going to have this town hall in 2 formats. One, we're going to have this open mic discussion with a couple of leading questions from me. So it will be very discussional and also conversational, which means If, say, for example, Wycliffe says something that is actually very interesting to debate, we can continue with that line of thought. Sawa sawa? So nothing is off limits here. And then after that, we'll also have a very brief, not so brief session, where we will break into groups. So that's something in like 40 minutes or so. We'll break into groups, and then in those groups, we'll have now a more targeted conversation around a very specific question that I will share with you guys. Is that cool? In those groups, we will have resident people in the groups, and then we'll have people who will move around. That being said, if you feel you've contributed, say, to question 1, and you'd like to see what question 2 people are doing, you're free to move to the question 2 table. Cool? Yes. Is that understood? Yeah. All right. I guess the mic will now be free to move around.
I think for me, AI will actually increase productivity per worker. So you'll find a situation where your productivity will increase 5 or even so-fold. So you'll be able to find a situation where someone is able to do the work that 5 people could do. And this one has a number of impacts. One is people with the knowledge of AI will succeed, they'll get the jobs. But people without the AI knowledge will suffer, like they won't have that opportunity. So that is where you're looking at it, where we talk about people losing jobs because of AI. And maybe a downside I notice, especially with the AI, is the more advanced you are getting into it, and there's chances of government abuse. If you look at China, for instance, right now, there's heavy use of AI in terms of it's being used for surveillance, and they're using the data from maybe the CCTVs and creating models that, they kind of, it's like a police state. So in as much as we are adopting it, we need to find ways to create, safeguards that will ensure individual, liberties, among other things. So looking at the recent protests that we have, I think in some cases, it will be at a point whereby through your post in a particular place, the government is able to track you through, a number of things. So tools such as AI will facilitate some of these things. So in as much as we have the good side, there's also that side where the government is bound to abuse it. Yeah.
May I feel like AI is change that is already here. It's no longer a story, but it's something that is already here. And since it's something that is affecting everyone in the society, I feel like this conversation should be broad, because by show of hands, you will find that most of us here are people in tech, or friends of people in tech, or friends of tech. But I feel like AI is affecting everyone in the society, so I think that this conversation should be broad, and everyone should be included. Everyone in the economy should be included, and there should be a public awareness on AI literacy, so that everyone should feel like they're included in this AI conversation. Yeah.
Okay, so for, let's say that you're creating the critical software, like for those that are being used in places like hospitals, airports, for engineering, those things that are very critical. I think the people who would develop, let's say if AI was to be used in that area, they should be vetted. Like they should show that they are they're qualified to create such software, so that no accidents can take place. So I think in those critical systems, people need to be accredited. They should have certifications for those kind of jobs.
So we'll move to the second bit, where we'll be answering 3 questions. For this, we'll divide into groups. I know we're around 42. Divide by 6, it's 8, I hope. So we'll go into groups of 8 and discuss these 3 questions. Please remember, as I had said, we have our resident people who will remain in those groups, and then we have people who will be moving around. You're free to move around. Anyway, there are only 3 questions. First one is, what are the capabilities and capacities needed for the development of AI within the sector or country? So here you can actually think of things like the gaps that are existing, the risks, and the priority areas. That is just but a few of things you can think about while talking about this. The second one is, what are the governance issues and enabling environment required for the deployment of AI within the sector or country? This is a good place where you can think of Caleb's recommendation on infrastructure, ethical AI from Paul, fairness, data, etc. And the last question would be, what would be the impact and the AI-enabled environment upon which the application of AI within the country or sector look like to benefit businesses, citizens, the economy, and the Kenyan society? So yote tisa kumi, where are we moving forward as a country? Sindio? So we'll break in groups of 8.
Yeah, I think both words. Don't even mention that. Yeah, I think people, most of us are afraid of it because we're still trying to understand what this process is. And I think someone had mentioned about the infrastructure. So if that can be incorporated, like from the start at primary school, if you can start to understand what I don't think, do they teach computers anymore?
They do. They do. CBC.
Oh, well, interesting. So yeah, I think going a step further and starting to expose everybody to that, then we'll be more comfortable to then move further and talk about, so what could this mean for us? So yeah, generally in terms of just an enabling environment. Because I wouldn't know. I'm speaking from a very social scientist perspective. I am not an IT person, so I don't even know what happens. For me, I just keep on thinking, what does this mean for the everyday person that I work with? And what does it mean in terms of behavior change? What does it mean in terms of people not losing jobs and etc.? Yeah, that's where I'm coming from. But maybe you guys are coming from a more, like, yeah, the other bit.
Empowering the universities or institutions by providing the capability of assembling the laptops and the computers infrastructure. And then also government provides the connectivity for the internet, because that is what we really need for us to build up on the AI. AI basically is a software-based infrastructure.
Government can also have such regulations that allows people to supply internet like that everyone can easily get it, and then government can come up with
under gaps.
Yeah.
Is it gaps? Areas of priority.
Areas of priority, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so that people can easily access internet, and then they can also come up with programs in the channels like radios, because right now there's a lot of vernacular channels in all parts of the country that just teaches people every day, just creates awareness on AI, internet, yeah, and what they can.
Environment required for the deployment of AI within the sector or the country. For the data issue, we came up with firms should not be allowed to sell data to the government. For example, if you give a firm your data, it should only stay in between the person who has given the data, you, and the firm. And then also, the government should create an open source data infrastructure for training the AI models.
What would be the impact and the AI-enabled environment upon application of AI within the country sector look like to benefit businesses, citizens, the economy, and the Kenyan society? So in business impact, there would be increased efficiency, like it can automate processes, leading to operational efficiency and reduced costs. In the society, it will lead to improvement of life. For example, where in hospitals, the processes could be automated so citizens would get better services. And also in businesses, there will be increased competition as those businesses that leverage AI will be more competitive compared to the others, which will lead the others to also join the AI, to use AI.
First question. And I'm just going to mention the points, the main points. Yeah, so the points was like research and development. We need to enhance research and development so that we can know what to research on. And also we need to develop the talented workforce so that we can have more people who can develop these AIs.
Okay, this is it. Hopefully we'll have more forums like this where we can bring people from various agencies or various places to talk about issues that will affect us moving forward. So you guys have been amazing. I'm happy to have moderated this. And just as a parting shot, for me is a question. So for me, it's really a thought. What's next for us? And also the state of Africa in discussions around global AI governance, digital influence in the digital empire. So what will that look like for us? Thank you very much and have a lovely evening. I would like to welcome Daryl to give us the next steps.
So we'll wrap it up there. Thank you guys for coming to LAKEHUB, to Zone 01 Kisumu. Thank you for participating. We will share with you a feedback form. That feedback form has more questions. So your group discussions, if you didn't mention anything there or you feel there's an important point that needs to be included, please do so. We'll collect all this and you're supposed to send them in by next week. So I will give you up to Monday to fill the feedback form. Please take it as a priority. It is important. This is an important process. I have to emphasize on that. So thank you everyone. Have a good evening.